what do we mean then by 14-year-olds in the question? Well, we could argue that it's too broad to just say all 14-year-olds. What about different cultures? What about different individual 14-year-olds? And what about social and family factors that might affect 14-year-olds? And how might this play into their ability to make decisions and whether we should trust them to make decisions about their own bodies, sorry. Can we trust all 14-year-olds equally to make good decisions is essentially what I'm asking, given that because of cultural factors, individual differences, including mental illness and family and social factors, all 14-year-olds will potentially, as we will see in the following slides, have differing decision-making abilities. So let's start with culture as an example. So different cultures and countries around the world, as we've briefly touched on in previous lessons, have different rules, laws, and guidelines around the ages at which it becomes legal for a teenager or an adolescent to make certain decisions, both around things to do with their bodies, their health, and other decisions, like driving, drinking, getting married, etc. These tend to be relatively similar across the world, but there are some that have bigger ranges, and let's take a look at some in more detail. So this is from the OECD, which is a list of countries, and I've linked to the source here if you would like to see the whole list. And what they've done here is they've listed all the OECD member countries and the legal age at which you can get married in all these countries. So I'll give you a moment to just quickly look over this. Again, this is from 2016. The laws probably haven't changed for many of the countries since then, so we can sort of go off this data, but just take a look at the graph and see, or take a look at the chart rather, and see if you can spot any patterns or similarities in terms of the legal age for marriage. So, unsurprisingly, I'm sure you've spotted that essentially it is the vast majority of these countries, the legal marriage age, or the minimum age at least, is 18, with the oldest legal marriage age being in China, which is 22 for a male and 20 for a female. And the youngest legal age is the UK, which is 16. Korea is 19, and there are a few others which vary by gender, which is quite interesting. We've got Indonesia, which is 21, but essentially we're thinking about all of these in relation to our question, should we trust 14-year-olds to make decisions about their bodies? Under none of these countries is 14 necessarily the age at which marriage is allowed without parental permission. However, if we look a little bit closer at the notes here, there are some where it gets a little bit younger if there is permission given by a parent or other sort of legal body. So, can we see any examples of 14 here? If we go to Mexico, marriage is legal for 14-year-old females with parental consent. For males, it is 16, which is interesting.